Hello, my lovelies. Today I have another book outlet haul for you, so stay tuned. Okay, so these boxes are heavy, so I'm going to put them down. So, I have two boxes. I don't know why I did it like that. I have two boxes of books from Book Outlet. And honestly, I've forgotten everything I've ordered. I am so confused because somehow I have two of the same book in here and I don't understand why. Did I order two by mistake? I must have. Yeah, somehow I ended up ordering it. I must have clicked it twice. I am dumb. And I don't think I can return it. Dang it. Okay, so I guess I'll put one of these in my unhaul closet. One of these is getting unhauled right away. Dang it. Okay, so I have two copies of Prince Charming by Rachel Hawkins. This says, Daisy Winters is an outspoken 16-year-old Floridian with mermaid red hair, a job cashiering at a bootleg Walmart, and a perfect older sister. But everything changes after her sister gets engaged to the Prince of Scotland. Now every detail of Daisy's private life is being scrutinized by the tabloids, and she's forced to join her sister at the secluded royal castle. The Crown hires the poor but dashing young Miles to help Daisy tone down her big personality, while the prince's gorgeous younger brother is determined to drag her into his scandals. With the posh boy coaxing her to misbehave and a poor boy pushing her to act like a lady, Daisy may just have to rewrite the royal playbook to suit herself. Okay, next up is Omens by Kelly Armstrong. This says, where do you go to hide when you find out your real parents are serial killers? Olivia Taylor-Jones, at 24, has the perfect life. The only daughter of a wealthy Chicago family, she has an Ivy League education, pursues good works, and is about to marry a handsome tech firm CEO with political ambitions. But then she finds out she's adopted. Her real parents, Todd and Pamela Larson, notorious serial killers, each still serving a life sentence and still protesting their innocence. As the media swarm, Olivia runs away and hides in the small town of Canesville, Illinois, an old, oddly cloistered community. There she starts to investigate the truth about her birth parents' crimes and finds herself forced to draw on abilities she kept hidden since childhood. These gifts make her both a valuable addition to Canesville and deeply vulnerable to unknown enemies. There are powers lurking in the shadows that have their own plans for the child of the Larsons. Next up is Till There Was You by Lindsay Hammerhoff. This says, a recipe for love that hits all the right notes. Lexi Berman has one goal, to make her mother proud by becoming an executive chef in a Michelin star restaurant, and she isn't going to let anything get in the way. That is, until she meets Jake Taylor, a dive bar musician who charms her with show tunes. After a steamy weekend together, Jake leaves for LA and Lexi never expects to see him again. And she definitely doesn't expect him to become an overnight celebrity with a breakout single that's almost certainly about her famous blueberry pancake recipe. When a distraught Jake turns up on her doorstep, Lexi's carefully laid plans are thrown for a loop. Though she and Jake try to be friends, things between them soon reheat faster than a bowl of Lexi's matzo ball soup. A relationship with Jake means jeopardizing her career, and with Jake's upcoming tour approaching, Lexi has to decide if holding on to her meticulously planned future is worth walking away from what could be the perfect recipe for love. Next is Mislaid in Parts, Half Known by Shannon McGuire. This is, I don't even know which book in the series, but this is part of the Wayward Children series. I think the first book's Every Heart a Doorway or something like that. And yeah, Every Heart a Doorway. And these are portal fantasy kind of series where these children are back in the real world and they all go to this kind of school for these kind of children that have gone away to their Neverland or Wonderland or whatever. And now they're forced to be back in the real world. They've come through and ended up back in our world and don't know how to be in the real world. And most of them want to just go back to their portal, back through their doorway. And it looks like this one is a dinosaur world. And I love this series. And I need to go and reread all of the ones that I've read so far and continue. Okay, I just thought this was neat. This is a Book Buddies Don't Talk to Me While I'm Reading with 25 tear out bookmarks. And it says, readers rejoice, calling all bibliophiles, library lovers, and fiction fanatics. Do you read past your bedtime? Maybe you don't have any shelf control. Is your weekend completely booked? Don't Talk to Me While I'm Reading is a bookworm's new best friend. Test your knowledge, get inspired, have a laugh, or just tear out a bookmark and enjoy your literary journey with your new bookish BFFs. And I wish I had gotten this open sooner because this would have been fun to do some of this stuff in the after hours for season-a-thon. But I can always do it next round or a future round. Okay, next up is, it's got a big ugly sticker on the right, but it's Destroy the Day by Bridget Kimmerer. This is, I think, the third book in the Defy the Night series. Let me pull that up on Goodreads so I can tell you about that. I already own books 1 and 2, so when I saw this come up, I had to grab it. I do wish it did not have this big, ugly yellow sticker on it, though. Okay, so for Defy the Night, it says, the kingdom of Kandala is on the brink of disaster. Rifts between sectors have only worsened since a sickness began ravaging the land, and within the royal palace, the king holds a tenuous peace with a ruthless hand. King Heiress was thrust into power after his parents' shocking assassination, leaving the younger Prince Corrick to take the brutal role of the king's justice. The brothers have learned to react mercilessly to any sign of rebellion. It's the only way to maintain order when this sickness can strike anywhere, and the only cure, an elixir made from delicate moonflower petals, is severely limited. Out in the wilds, apothecary apprentice Tessa Cade is tired of seeing her neighbors die, their suffering ignored by the unyielding royals. Every night she and her best friend Wes risk their lives to steal moonflower petals and distribute the elixir to those who need it the most, but it's still not enough. As rumors spread that the cure no longer works and sparks of rebellion begin to flare, a particularly cruel act from the king's justice makes Tessa desperate enough to try the impossible, sneaking into the palace, but what she finds upon her arrival makes her wonder if it's even possible to fix Kandala without destroying it first. Now, I have read that first book. I cannot remember if I read the second one or not. I don't think I have, but I do own it. Next is The Keep of Ages by Corag M. O'Brien. This is the finale to the Vault of Dreamers series, which I just recently read and very much loved. I have the first 2 books, so I wanted to complete the series. Okay, so in the Vault of Dreamers, because I can really only tell you about that one, there is a special school for gifted children, and they have to get in first, and only 100 are accepted. After that, they are there for only about 2 weeks, and then half of them get sent home. But it's not just a school, it's also like a reality TV show. So they're getting fans, they're being ranked in popularity, things like that. And so only the top 50 will continue on with the schooling. And after they cut the other 50, those 50 that made it in get to stay in. Now this, as far as the reality TV show side goes, they're on air live constantly, 12 hours a day, from the time they wake up to the time they go to sleep, and then they're given medication to make them sleep for 12 hours. And while they're in this school, they're making money from ads and all kinds of other things, and when they graduate, they get all this money. And so it can be very, very lucrative for them. The more popular you are, the more you're getting. And right before they cut the bottom 50, our main character, she is ranked number 97, and she just knows she's about to go home and all of this is about to end. And this is all towards the very beginning of the book. She just knows she's going to be sent home, and so she decides not to take the medicine one night and sneaks out, and she wants to see the sky and this and that. And while she's awake, she starts to notice things that seem off. And so she can't tell anybody that she's seen these things because she'll admit that she was up, and she's really desperate to try to salvage things so that she can stay. And she manages to get past, that 50 culling, but only to discover, after doing a couple more nights of not sleeping when she's supposed to, more and more things seem off. And things are a bit sinister. And it's a really, really, really good series. I enjoyed it a lot, and so I wanted to have the third book as well. Okay, then the last book in this box, this is the small box. This is The Warning by Christy Acevedo. This says, what would you do to survive? Like most high school seniors, Alexandra Lucas is caught between living in the moment and an unknown future. Her anxiety disorder doesn't make that any easier, but she's coping until her train stops on the way home from a concert with her boyfriend. At first, she's worried about breaking curfew, then terror echoes through the train car. A mysterious doorway has appeared beside the tracks, and a hologram claiming to be a human from the future shares a sinister warning. A comet is on a collision course with Earth. All life there will end in 6 months' time. To survive, people must step through one of the many portals that have opened around the world. The holograms claim to offer safety, but how can anyone be sure? Stay or go, everyone must make their own choice. Alex's family, her friends, her boyfriend all have different ideas. Alex is only sure of one thing. She wants to decide for herself, but every decision comes at a price. Okay, now on to the big box. Okay, this box has quite a variety of stuff. So, first off, I have The Lighter Step-by-Step Instant Pot Cookbook by Jeffrey Eisner. And this is legit just a cookbook, which I don't really need to go into that. But I love the Instant Pot, so yeah. Then we have the Step-by-Step Instant Pot Cookbook by the same guy. It's just, we have that regular one and then the lighter one. Hopefully they're different recipes, because that would suck. And then we have The Book Lovers Quiz Book 2. More Quizzes for Book Whizzes by Gary Wigglesworth. And this seems like a really fun thing to use for an after hours live for Season-a-thon as well. Alright, next up we have The Lost Daughter of Venice by Charlotte Betts. And I was just looking for, a few different things. And I happened to come across this. And I was like, oh, Venice. We went to Venice. And so I thought it would be interesting. This says, come to Venice. Please, Phoebe, do not fail me. Venice, 1919. 17 years ago, the Grand Venetian Palazzo degli Angeli was Phoebe Wyndham's home. Now the neglected walls of the palazzo are just a haunting reminder of all she has lost. Arriving back in Italy after a plea from her estranged relative, the Contessa di Sebastiano, the recently widowed Phoebe is shocked to discover her aunt is dead and the palazzo now belongs to her. All she wants to do is sell the property and return home. However, when a dark family secret is exposed, the shocking deception rocks Phoebe to her very core, and she vows not to leave the City of Water without first unraveling the truth from the lies. As Phoebe searches for answers, she finds herself growing closer to two very different men. But when her camera catches something more sinister than the faded grandeur of Venice, Phoebe begins to question who she can really trust and whether her aunt's death was truly an accident after all. Okay, next I have, this is like a travel guide kind of thing, or a city guide. This is Strolling Through Istanbul, the classic guide to the city. because this is somewhere I want to go soon, like in 2025, hopefully. Okay, then we've got The Heiress by Rachel Hawkins. This says, deception leaves a killer legacy. When Ruby McTavish, Callahan, Woodward, Miller, Kenmore dies, wow, what a name. She's not only North Carolina's richest woman, she's also the most notorious. The victim of a famous kidnapping as a child and a widow 4 times over, Ruby ruled the tiny town of Tavistock from Ashby House, her family's estate high in the Blue Ridge Mountains. But in the aftermath of her death, her adopted son Camden wants little to do with the house or the money, and even less to do with the surviving McTavishes. Instead, he rejects his inheritance, settling into a normal life as an English teacher in Colorado and marrying Jules, a woman just as eager to escape her own messy past. 10 years later, his uncle's death pulls Cam and Jules back into the family fold at Ashby House. Its views are just as stunning as ever, its rooms just as elegant, but the legacy of Ruby is inescapable. And as Ashby House tightens its grip on Jules and Camden, questions about the infamous heiress come to light. Was there any truth to the persistent rumors following Ruby's disappearance as a girl? What really happened to those 4 husbands, who all died under mysterious circumstances? And why did she adopt Cam in the first place? Soon, Jules and Cam realize that inheritance can entail far more than what's written in a will, and that the bonds of family stretch far beyond the grave. Okay, next we have one more cookbook. This is Super Shortcut Instant Pot by Jeffrey Eisner. And I love some quick food. Loving the Instant Pot. Alright, then we've got The Villa by Rachel Hawkins. And this says, as kids, Emily and Chess were inseparable. But now in their 30s, their bond has been strained by the demands of their adult lives. So when Chess suggests a girl's trip to Italy, Emily jumps at the chance to reconnect. Villa Estasis in Orvieto is a high-end holiday home now, but in 1974, it was known as Villa Rosado and was rented for the summer by the notorious rock star Noel Gordon. Desperate to reignite his creative spark, Noel invited up-and-coming musician Pierce Sheldon to join him, as well as Pierce's girlfriend Mari and her stepsister Laura. But he also set in motion a chain of events that led to Mari writing one of the greatest horror novels of all time, Laura composing a platinum album, and ended in Pierce's brutal murder. As Emily digs into the villa's complicated history, she begins to suspect there's more to the story of that fateful summer in 1974, that perhaps Pierce's murder wasn't just a tale of sex, drugs, and rock and roll gone wrong, but that something more sinister might have occurred, and that there might be clues hidden in the now iconic works that Mari and Laura left behind. When long-buried secrets come to light, Emily discovers that history has a way of repeating itself, and the villa may claim another victim before the summer ends. Inspired by Fleetwood Mac, the Manson murders, and the infamous summer Percy and Mary Shelley spent with Lord Byron at a Lake Geneva castle, the birthplace of Frankenstein, Rachel Hawkins' The Villa invites you into its deadly legacy. All right, next we have What Lies in the Woods by Kate Alice Marshall. This says, they were 11 when they sent a killer to prison. They were heroes, but they were liars. Naomi Shaw used to believe in magic. 22 years ago, she and her 2 best friends spent the summer roaming the woods, playing a game that became an obsession and a refuge. That sanctuary was shattered when Naomi was attacked. Miraculously, she survived her stab wounds, and the girls' testimony put away a serial killer. They were heroes, and they were liars. Now, after fresh tragedy strikes, Naomi sets out to discover what really happened in the woods, no matter how dangerous the truth turns out to be. Next up is One by One by Frida McFadden. This says, one by one, they will get what they deserve. Claire Matchett needs this trip. It will be a break from working and work and raising children. A chance to repair her damaged marriage. A week of hiking and hot tubbing with friends at a luxurious hotel in the woods, disconnected from the pressures of real life. Then, on a lonely dirt road, Claire's minivan breaks down. With no cell reception, the group has no choice but to walk the rest of the way to their remote accommodation. But the forest is dark and difficult to navigate, and hours later they are lost, hopelessly lost. As they venture deeper into the woods, the members of the party are struck down mysteriously one by one. Are they being hunted, and by what or who? As Claire's dream vacation descends into a nightmare, something becomes clear. Only one of them will return home alive. This is a taut story of betrayal and survival from New York Times bestselling author Frida McFadden that will leave you wondering if there's any way out of the woods. This very much is giving me And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie vibes. All right, next up is Dishonestly Yours by Krista and Becca Ricci. This says, starting fresh is the only way Phoebe can escape a life of crime, but her best friend's older brother complicates honest dreams in this gripping new series from the authors of the Addicted series. Phoebe Graves grew up in a family where deception and seduction were as commonplace as breathing. Phoebe's family and the Tin Rock clan, including her best friend Haley, have been on the run their whole lives. But after a high-stakes con job goes south, Phoebe and Haley decide to run away and start over. The small Connecticut town they settle in seems too good to be true. The biggest flaw in their plan is Haley's frustratingly handsome brother, Rocky, who insists on coming with them. Living honestly isn't in his DNA, and his past with Phoebe is downright messy. He's everything she wants, but nothing she can have. Phoebe worries that Rocky will tempt them back into their old ways, where lying is second nature. She doesn't want Rocky to mess up the new life she's begun for herself. The longer she stays in town, the more she realizes what it means to have a reputation and what a normal life with a man she loves could look like. Okay, next is, I think it's book 4 in the series. This is Finley Donovan Rolls the Dice by Elle Casamino. Because this is like 4th in the book, I can't really tell you, or 4th in the series, I can't really tell you about it. But I pulled up Finley Donovan is Killing It, which is book 1. Finley Donovan is killing it, except she's really not. She's a stressed-out single mom of 2 and struggling novelist. Finley's life is in chaos. The new book she promised her literary agent isn't written. Her ex-husband fired the nanny without telling her. And this morning, she had to send her 4-year-old to school with hair duct taped to her head after an incident with scissors. When Finley is overheard discussing the plot of her new suspense novel with her agent over lunch, she's mistaken for a contract killer and inadvertently accepts an offer to dispose of a problem husband in order to make ends meet. Soon, Finley discovers that crime in real life is a lot more difficult than it is in fiction, than its fictional counterpart, as she becomes tangled in a real-life murder investigation. Fast-paced, deliciously witty, and wholeheartedly authentic in depicting the frustrations and triumphs of motherhood and in all its messiness, hilarity, and heartfelt moment, Finley Donovan is Killing It is the first in a brilliant new series from YA Edgar Award nominee Elle Casamino. And I've heard nothing but good things about this series. Okay, there are only 2 books remaining in this box. And I think it's a series or a duology. Okay, it looks like it's just the 2 books. So we have book 1, which is Suburban Dicks, and book 2, The Self-Made Widow by Fabian Nikizia. So I can't tell you about the second one, but this one says, living in the suburbs can be murder. Andrea Stern thought she'd solved her final homicide. Once she hoped to be an FBI profiler, but gave up those dreams to raise 4, very soon to be 5, children in West Windsor, New Jersey. When her youngest has to pee, she pulls her crowded minivan into a gas station and stumbles across a murder scene. An attendant has been killed, and the local cops are on their way, and the local cops are in way over their heads. Suddenly, Annie is obsessed with the case and back on the trail of a killer, this time with kids in tow. Her childhood friend, disgraced local journalist Kenneth Lee, is also on the case, and he has everything to prove by breaking the story. The question is, who in West Windsor has something to lose if the truth comes to light? As unusual occurrences and eventually body parts surface around town, Andy and Kenny dig beneath the shiny facade of an affluent suburb to uncover shimmering racial tensions and a decades-old conspiracy. But in this killer whodunit, the crimes of the past are only the beginning. And these seem interesting. And they're actually both, they don't have a lot of ratings on Goodreads, but they are highly rated. Suburban Dicks has like 4,246 ratings, and The Self-Made Widow only has like 1,600. But they're both over a 3.9. Also, I guess the author is the co-creator of Deadpool, so you know it's going to be funny. Okay, so those are all of the books in this book outlet haul. Not as bad as I thought, though I did have a duplicate. I can't seem to not have duplicates. So have you guys read any of these? Did you like them? Did you not? Comment down below and let me know. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, click that subscribe button down below. And until next time, remember to always be completely you. Bye!